Hey guys, welcome back. Bolt Spider here, and we're going to be going over some of the top 32 decks from the YCS. And first off, we have Tinny Swordsoul featuring Psychic and Punisher. Now, this Swordsoul list is pretty much standard to what most people are playing today. And there's always that one flex option that I see people running Dragite or Psychic and Punisher, depending on what they feel like playing. Now, as you can see, Forbidden Chalice is being played along with Imperm, so your bases are covered for effect negations if you're going second. And also the hand trap lineup being Astral and Imperm. Pretty good. Now, overall, the rest of the deck is super standard on what Tenyu Swordsoul is. This is also Tijma Amin's top 16 list. So this was a very nice list to look at because it's just what we're used to seeing. Next up, we have the top 4 Drytron Magic Key list because we have Justin Singh here. And as we can see, he's running Barto Buster with Unclocked. Now, what this does is you ritual summon out the Batu Buster, and you can search out Magic Key Unlocking, which is a spell and trap card negate. And also, if you do destroy that card, then you can declare one attribute, and if you do that, for the rest of the turn, all face-up monsters your current controls become that attribute. So, it could matter if you're running things that control the attribute, which I don't see in here, but it's Drytron. And to break down a few of the little interesting choices that they ran, we see 3 Mystic Mine along with the 1 Terraforming and double Fafnir. We usually only see 1 Fafnir, but playing set rotation, you have to run 2 now. And really, there's not much to go over and talk about in this list because it's all pretty much standard. You have the 2 Ben 10, 1 Natasha, 1 Ida 10, so you get 3 banishes to summon back the Natasha, which is very good because you get to steal up to 3 monsters. You also have things like Herald, Diviner of the Herald to send either Intis or Herald of the Arclight, which, in my opinion, is pretty good. Then, next up, we have, I believe, this would be Calvin Tahan's Swordsoul list. Now, Calvin Tahan is known for playing stuff such like ABC, but we were all surprised that he wasn't on ABC this event, but he's playing Swordsoul, and a couple of the choices that I want to talk about. He's running Tenyu Swordsoul Mapuru, or Mapura, as this is just a vanilla monster in his opinion, but it does have an effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a non-effect monster, you control quick effect, banish this card from your hand or graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So it's just there for targeting on non-effect monsters, but that's not really going to happen. It's just here. In my opinion, I think he should have run Shithana, the water one, which is slightly better because it actually has utility, but hey, whatever works for him. Now, as I said, this is a very standard list, and another thing I want to talk about is Mistaken Arrest. This is just another copy of Droll and Lockbird, but it's a quick play because not many people are running cross out for Mistaken Arrest. They're running cross out for Droll and Lockbird. But other than that, this deck is super standard, and I really do like it. After that, we have the top 32 49 card Adagnister list from Jingyang Gao. And if I butchered that name, I'm sorry, but this is a very standard Adagnister list currently. You can see he's running the Small Worlds just to get to his pieces faster. He's also running for the Hand Traps, Ash Blossom, Valor, Gamma package, and Imperm. They're also on the Mystic Mine. I feel like that he could have ran set rotation, in my opinion, but that's one thing for sure. Next, we have the side deck. Of course, we have the one-sided Denamari because it's not really that worth maining. In my opinion, I wouldn't main one just to run a 50-card deck. And then in the extra deck, as we can see, he's on the Heat Soul. Heat Soul definitely brought life to a lot of Cybers decks, and they've been seeing a lot of play, which is very nice. But in my opinion, I don't know what this deck still does, because even though it's been out for almost 3 years, I really cannot say much of the list. But in my opinion, since he topped, I give him claps and a congrats. After that, we have another topping list for Despia. This is Luke Park's top 32 Despia list. Now, 45 cards seems like very standard for Despia players, and as we can see, it is very, very cool. Now, one of the things I learned with Despia, you kind of want to have an even amount of spells and monsters, which I've really found out after the regional, that having the exact same amount of spells and monsters means that your deck's going to be super consistent, like how all of these Despia decks are. Now, as we look at it, he's running the Albion with Kit and Mercurier, and he's also running other things like Branded Banishment. Allure of Darkness is a mainstay staple now because drawing 2 cards is very powerful in a deck like this, where it is all darks, and people said, oh, we don't run Allure of Darkness at the very start of the deck's life. Back when people were testing out the deck before where we are now. But let's talk about the side deck and the extra deck. We can see he's running the Necroworld Banshee with the Zombie World. Very, very good staple. I'm glad I actually own copies now, thanks to Ghosts from the Past 2. Then we have the extra deck being, he's on the Proskinian, which is a good Super Poly target, but he's not running Super Poly. It's more so just to out a few cards here and there. We're on the Titan Clad, which in my opinion is very good because it gets to your Albaz, or really just another card to send. And we have the Dracos Tapalia, very good card. And for the final desk, we have Matthew Beck's DDD list, 45 cards, and he's on Change of Heart. Hand traps are Ash Blossom, DD Crow, and 2 Valor, 3 Bell. Very standard hand trap lineup, as we can see. But in my opinion, I really like DDDs. I'm thinking of picking them up, and this is definitely a deck to base off the deck with, because of how much there is for just the deck in general. Most of it got reprinted in Ghosts from the Past 2, but we're still missing a lot of the pieces, which are probably going to be in the Gold Series later this year. Other than that, Pyrus Map to search out extra copies, not on Small World, which is absolutely okay, because you could swap between Pyrus Map and Small World, but in my opinion, I think this is more of the budget option if you're on a budget. We can see he's also maining the Eternal Darkness, which I think is a very nice tech, because people are running so much back row hate right now, being Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclone, Feather Duster, and all that. This card just says your opponent cannot target monsters on the field with spells and trap effects, or tribute them for a tribute summon, nor use them as material for a fusion, synchro, or exceed. So none of your Pendulum Zone cards can be targeted by your opponent's stuff, or tributed, or anything, which is very useful. But other than that, extra deck is super standard, and side deck looks completely fine. But I want to know what you guys think about these decks right here. And anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. See you guys in the next video. I will have Adventure Punk or Punk decks later, but we'll see on that. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. See you guys in the next video.